Hello, everyone. It's me, Kirsten. This is the It's Giving Mystical podcast, and these are your November tarotscopes. Okay, let's do this. The November energy, if you didn't hear the full energy report podcast, is the Moon card and the Justice card. The Justice card is very front body, like here I stand, feet on the ground, clear vision. What is real? What is true? Let's say it. Let's do it. Let's move. Let's decide. The Moon card is the back body. It's like, do we even know it exists? Are we even aware of what's going on? It's the part of our brain that watches our brain. The Moon card is really about dreams and illusion and shadow and healing, but in a very nonlinear way. And so Justice and the Moon are really this beautiful conversation between the front body and the back body. One might argue integration, one might argue harmonization, and the idea of like the clear ray of light of justice and the meandering river of the moon, and how those two things inform each other, speak to each other, learn from each other, and integrate with each other, how they both determine the life we live, like the part of us that is clear and present and on, and the part of us that is confused and dreamy and distracted. We are both, and that is the energy for the month ahead. You can hear more of that on the full podcast, but for today, when we talk about our tarotscopes, I'm just going to say from the get-go that underneath I pulled a card for every sign, obvi. I pulled a tarot card for everyone, and then I pulled from a deck called the Elki deck, the She-Who, and we can take that. That can be genderless, right? This is really about energy. The She-Who deck, it's such a beautiful, the Elki deck is such a beautiful representation, and it calls up the energies, the archetypes of, She-Who, or one who moves towards something, one who integrates something, and you'll see as the tarotscopes unfold what they offer, what these cards offer. But I love them. I love the imagery. I love the illustrations, and I love the energy behind each of them. There's something very anchoring and grounding about the energy in each of these cards. So I pulled one of each for each sign. Underneath, the underlying for all of us in both decks was the Five of Swords and She Who Instigates. Leadership, provocation, and power. Who pushes your buttons? Who triggers you? The Five of Swords as well, like who's winning, who's losing, who's stepping off the field altogether. There's definitely an energy here of a little bit of troublemaking, a little bit of provocation, a little bit of instigation. Set yourself up for success this month. So whatever you need to do, like be aware of, last month it was like be aware of what energy drains you. This is like, be aware of which energy triggers you, activates you, provokes you. Sometimes that's a good thing, right? It can be inspiring. It can be like the healthy tussle of like living and life and relationships and investigation and dialoguing and, on and on about how we inspire and provoke each other. And that can be a really good thing. It can be like a healthy tussle that brings us to new plateaus, new vibrations, new energies, that clarifies and shakes up the things that are stagnant. So that's good. That's a beautiful energy. But the flip side of that, the shadow side of that, is that if we're not prepared for that, if we're not in a space where that feels invigorating and lively and exciting, it can be just plain old triggering, just plain old destructive. Last month, it was like, who drains you? Pay attention to those things. Set yourself up for success in terms of being in places that you can rest, truly, truly rest. This month, it's like, be in places where if there's provocation, if there's inspiration, if there's power play, it's coming from a sense, it's coming at you, coming to you, coming from you in a way that is invigorating and enlivening, not in a way that is destructive. Simple as that. What environments, what people, what relationships, what ventures, what projects provoke you in a good way, and which ones provoke you in a way that just depletes you, just takes the energy right out of you, just takes the wind right out of your sails, or even worse, just like totally hijacks your navigation altogether and sends you off into seas that you never meant to sail in. And that is enough for my sailing metaphor today. Let's get started with Scorpio. Scorpio, you have the, happy birthday, babies. You have the Eight of Wands and She Who Enfolds, so who soothes, swathes, embraces, and self-care. The Eight of Wands is messages, movement. The Eight of Wands is the things that have been launched, and usually it comes with communication, it comes with energetic transfer, it comes with, this is the card of orgasm, so every minor arcana card has a human experience associated with it, and the Eight of Wands is the card of orgasm. It's like the build up, the release, and the loss of control that comes from that space, that comes in that experience, and that is with you this month. Maybe Scorpio, just watch what happens this month. Just be aware of the way energy is already in play, the things that have already been launched that haven't landed yet. Usually the Eight of Wands feels, like I said, very enlivening, very invigorating. Those two words seem to be coming up a lot already, but usually that's what Eight of Wands feels like. And it's here, that's here, but more importantly, what's here is like this sense of watching the ship sail, watching the arrows fly, like watching the movement of what is already in play, of what is already in process, and holding yourself through that, like wrapping yourself, protecting yourself, pausing in that just to witness, just to watch. What that says to me is that you might be called to like respond or engage or launch new energy. And the Eight of Wands and She Who Enfolds says, just wait, just pause, just let's see what happens. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not add fuel to the fire. Let's just kind of see where this is all going, see where things are going to land. And once things land, we might have a better sense of how we want to respond and react. The overall energy here is like the eye of the hurricane. Like, can you stand still while things move around you and just observe, just witness, just pause in knowing that what's happening is, like, again, in transit. It's moving. It hasn't settled yet. It hasn't landed yet. So just give it a hot minute and try not to get involved in things that don't concern you. That feels very clear with the Five of Swords and the She Who Instigates on top of the cards you have. Like, you don't need to be in the like you're in the eye of the storm. You don't necessarily need to be like the, what do you call that? Like the tornado chaser. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can just rest, just watch, just observe, just stay with yourself, stay with your own energy and see what happens from there. Sagittarius, you have the Seven of Cups and She Who Dreams. Seven of Cups is the energy of dreaming. It's fantasy, it's creativity, it's dreaming the world into being. And the Seven of Cups, the challenge there, the contrast there is like the world told you if you get these things, if you create these things, you will be satisfied. You will have created a dream. You will be living the dream. You will be everything you could ever want. As you achieve these things, some of them land as satisfaction and some of them land as, what was I even fighting for? Why did I want this so badly in the first place? And that's usually the way the Seven of Cups comes in. Like, just notice that. Notice what is you dreaming because it springs from your heart. It springs from your soul. And what is you dreaming because you think that somehow that will create fulfillment, that will create satisfaction. She Who Dreams, on top of this, when I hold these two cards together, what comes up is this idea that a lot of times we are creating and building and deciding in reaction to what was, or in reaction to what we've been told. And it sounds simple, but it's actually an important pivot to make, to then at some point in your maturation decide, okay, and this is very much part of this November energy, right? The world is what it is. I have created a life built on the circumstances I've had to navigate through. And at some point, I stop navigating in response and I start navigating through inspiration. What do I want? What do I dream about? What do I hope for? What do I envision and picture? What do I yearn for? What do I long for in this life? I'm going to start dreaming forward. I'm going to start anchoring into the future, anchoring into the grid. This is what I want. This is what I'm fantasizing about. This is what I'm creating. This is what I'm aligning to. And so that seems to be what's going on, Sagittarius, this month, is this like recalibration, reorientation away from dreaming in reaction to and beginning to dream into your own future, beginning to dream the world into being as you seek to live it, as you seek to be in it. Yeah, Sagittarius, it's like a very clear energy of you get to decide, you get to create. And I don't know that you've ever done that before. I don't know why something about this feels, did you know that was possible? And maybe you did on some level or some part of your life where that was okay. But this seems to be an expansion of that energy. And it's very lovely. Be wild with your dreams, but be also protective of your dreams. Hold them close for now. Hold them close. Let them be. Don't let the world influence them. Don't let the world color them. Don't seek validation for them. Just like in your quietest moments, in your heart of hearts, what do you dream of? Let yourself dream it. Hold it right now as the precious seed that it is. I am beginning to understand that I don't need to move in reaction. I can move in an inspired way, a new way, a creative way. And I have these kind of wishes that are just seeds in my heart, Let me sit with them, cultivate them, nurture them, pour a little rain and sunlight on them and see what happens. I like that, Sagittarius. That feels like quiet energy and also incredibly beautiful and inspiring energy. I think you're going to be surprised at how magical you are, what a divine manifester you are. Something really cool happening there. Capricorn, you got the devil and you got she who grants wishes, desires, hopes. Capricorn, the card in the tarot that represents you is the devil. So we can hear the devil and be like, oh my God, what are you in bondage to? Where did you forget to laugh and sing and dance? Where are you taking it all too seriously? And yes, Capricorn, because that tends to be one of your Achilles heels, to take things too seriously. The devil coming here is like just a yes to who you are and how you are in this moment. She who grants wishes. The devil and those two energies coming up this month feel like something cool is going to happen. It feels like you're going to feel yourself in a way that feels good and strong and valuable. Okay, I don't know exactly what to do with this, but I'll say it because that's what I'm here to do. There's something about being drunk with your own power. What a funny phrase to come through, but to be drunk with your own power. And it reminds me of something that came up recently. I can't put my finger on it, where we lose, it was the victory card. It was that 6 of Wands where it was like, have you lost sight of the other? Has your self-focus become something not unhealthy, but something that needs to be rebalanced, that needs to be kind of placed more in the context of the relational field? Yeah, so something here about drunk with your own power. Meditate on that. What does that mean to you? I feel protective of you, so part of me feels like, do you, Capricorn? Like, take on whatever you have to take on, like, be whoever you want to be, want whatever you want, wish for whatever you want, conquer whatever you need to conquer. But there's a message coming through that's pretty undeniable that there could be a way in which you become drunk with your own power and almost like take a win and distort it a little bit. So just notice that, pay attention to that, be aware of that, see how that lands. It's a very empowered month for you. It feels like a very successful energy for you, and there's definitely a warning here that the scales could tilt too far in the wrong direction. I don't know if that I'm going to stick to drunk with your own power and what that phrase means to you and how you feel. And honestly, like it's like Kirsten and the messenger like debating in my head. So that's why I'm stumbling over my words. But it's like drunk with your own power. There's a part of me that feels like, damn, yeah, like celebrate it. And I keep wanting to put that through. And the phrase keeps wrapping itself around that. So that's for you to navigate and understand, but I will leave that with you. Aquarius, 9 of Pentacles and she who rises up. Okay, 9 of Pentacles is, a person satisfied, but also a person isolated. This came up for you last month as well. You had the castle energy, and I don't remember the other card that came with it. Maybe it was like the Ace of Swords, but it was this idea of self-isolation a little bit, and the warmth that comes, the healing that would come, the joy that would come if you kind of threw open the gates and worried less about fortification and thought more, how can I bring people into my community? How can I bring people into my safe place? This is like that. So the 9 of Pentacles is kind of similar to that castle energy of like, I have everything I need. I'm here. I don't need anything. I'm self-contained. I have it all. There's a sense of completion and perfection around earth energy and around the earthly plane. But she who rises up, empower, uplift, elevate. There's a way in which like, how can you take this fullness and offer it as a gift? Be generous with it. Throw open the gates and inspire others with the sense of satisfaction you have. Also, be honest. If in some way you feel lonely, be honest with that and reach out for support in that. And maybe turn some of that graciousness, that gracious possibility that you see so easily for other people, maybe turn some of that towards you. You'll see these cards, like I'll post all these on Instagram, but there's something about the way that the hair is bound in both of these images that really calls my attention, and I've never actually quite noticed it before. And there's a similarity to the way that the curls are held by this headdress or this headpiece that they're each wearing. And it, hair represents our wildness, our primalness, our magical capacity. So very much not earth energy, much more in the realm of fantastical and spiritual and energetic. And there's something about the way it's bound, which is begging for release, like begging for release. To get a little bit messy, Aquarius. There feels like this call to like be a little more wild and messy with all of it, and how good that's going to feel to you, how that's going to bring you a bigger sense of fulfillment and community, and how also that's going to be inspiring to other people, and something about that magnetizes other energies to you in a really cool way. Pisces, Two of Pentacles, and she who avenges, nemesis, revenge, outcome, justice. Funny that you're getting this card in the Justice month, and even more interesting because the Two of Pentacles is the card of balancing. It's the minor arcana energy of, we said like the Eight of Wands is the energy of the orgasm. The Two of Pentacles is the energy of a mother with twins, like a mother holding two babies. How do I satisfy both these little beings? How do I ever find enough of myself? How do I be in all the places I want to be? The Two of Pentacles is a self-induced disorientation. If we actually just stop and breathe, we realize that we have everything we need. We have enough time, we have enough money, we have enough energy, we have enough, like point blank. But something about our environment is convincing us that we're not doing enough, that we're out of balance, that we're unsafe. And that plus she who avenges... That's interesting, dude. There's a couple ways you could read this. One would be, don't let your desire to prove a point or prove yourself or win an argument set you off balance. Prioritize what you need, how you need to be balanced. You don't need to convince anyone that you're right and they're wrong. Like, you don't need, in the Five of Swords that I talked about in the beginning of this podcast, the conversation is always around like sometimes you're the winner, sometimes you're the victim or the loser, and sometimes you choose to walk away. I would advise you this month, Pisces, to walk away. There's something about the walking away that rights the scales of justice, that the greatest, it's like, what's that? Living well is the best revenge, right? Like, stay with you, stay in your lane, stay with your art, stay with your work, stay with your sense of balance, your sense of peace, and like walk away from any obvious conflict and know that the decision, the empowered choice to not engage is actually the greatest success, will right the scales, is the greatest revenge, the greatest avenging of the wrongs that have been done to you. Okay, Pisces, you're really going to be tempted to like, it's going to be one of those things like when you're in the shower and you rehash a conversation, you're like, I should have said this. If I had just said that, oh, that's the best line. That was a good comeback, right? It's kind of that energy. So like work it out in the shower, work it out in your journal, work it out in a walk in the woods. Find the strength within you to keep your feet on the ground and to stay focused on where you need to be, who you want to be, and don't get pulled into, like these games of revenge. You don't need to. The more clearly you separate yourself from that, the more easily the scales will right themselves. Aries, how beautiful. You have the Four of Wands and she who remains. Powerful, devotion, true worth. Beautiful. Four of Wands is like the harmonizing of our fire energy. It's the card of marriage, the card of devotion, the card of commitment, the card of sacrament. And she who remains. Powerful, devotion, true worth. Those two things together feel like a real homecoming, Aries, in terms of I'm everything I need. And it doesn't mean I don't want commitment. It doesn't mean I don't want relationship. It doesn't mean I don't want partners and people to engage and play with. But there's a sense of, I know I say satisfaction a lot, but here it feels like deep satisfaction. Oh, wait, I really am enough. Oh, wait, I really am worthy of devotion. There's something really beautiful, stable, and inspiring about my energy. Think about Aries energy is like the I am, it's pure flame, it's the initial fire, the spark of life. And the Four of Wands is the stabilization of that, the containment of that, the codification of that in a way that ends up gifting the larger community. I think you're going to see that in yourself. And it might be that brings you to a relationship. It brings you to another who can witness that in you, who reflects that back to you. But even more importantly, it feels like this sense. It reminds me of the way Capricorn, that whole drunk with your own power. With Aries, it's satisfied with, oh, I'm this, and this is amazing. And it feels really good. And if someone can't feel how good this feels, that's cool because I'm here. Because I get to live this way. I get to live like this. And that is amazing. So cool. Aries, I love the energy for you. You'll see the woman, the energy here, the she who remains. She's just like this incredible goddess, and her hair is like this beautiful flame, centering of your fire energy that is just damn sexy. Really, really good. Okay, Taurus. Page of Cups and She Who Frees, Liberation, Unrestrained Freedom. Oh, so interesting. I love looking at images side by side and the way they just tell a tale. Oh, so interesting, Taurus. Okay, so the Page of Cups is, learning to hold our hearts, our emotion, our feelings, the poetry of life, the art of life with a new sense of curiosity and wonder. The Page of Cups is offers of love. The She Who Frees, Liberation, Unrestrained Freedom. You'll look at these cards side by side. The page is holding the cup and they're like gazing at this fish. It's like the classic Page of Cups. Oh my God, look at this mystery and flow. And I'm just like in it and I feel it. And then the She Who Frees, it looks like she's tossing something into the storm. It looks like she's tossing her cup into the ocean. It reminds me of that thing that came through when I was doing some shamanic work where my grandfather said to me, you get confused and you think you're the sailor, but you're the sea. And it's like that energy. Like you think you're confused and you think like you get this one cup. And I was just like, oh, I get this cup and I hope it's great and I'm going to write a love story about it and I hope it fills me up and it's kind of magical and beautiful. And the She Who Frees is like, fuck that. You are the sea, baby. You are the ocean. You are, and someone brought this up in Circle the other day, that you are a drop in the ocean and also the ocean in a drop. That energy, that Taurus, that's with you. And what it feels like is this sense of deep liberation around your worth, around your heart space, around your capacity to be with yourself. Taurus, this is so interesting. I'm Taurus rising. I'm going to keep these cards and kind of meditate on them. There's something really profound here about abundance and about a scarcity mindset when it comes to art and poetry and feeling and love. Great, like renunciation, is that a word? I am the whole damn ocean. I am the whole damn sea. I love her. I love this. Taurus, let me know how this lands for you because I want to see this in the world. I want to feel this and see this. This is really good. You and Aries have energies that just feel really exciting. I love it. Gemini, the world and She Who Brings Light. What a run, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Interesting. The world is completion, but full, real completion. Like this is done now and I am not the person who entered the labyrinth. I am not the person who began to walk this path. And She Who Brings Light, light, serenity, beacon. And there's a way in which Gemini, you've come to the end of a pretty major cycle. And the image I have is like the hermit walking out into the light and dropping its cloak and being this magical beacon, this light in the world, this lighthouse in the world. There's so much peace in these two cards. So much radiance, so much illumination. What I want to say is like, you should be so proud of yourself, Gemini. You should be really proud of how you're showing up right now, how you are completing this phase, the possibilities for healing, gifting the world with your composure and your radiance both end. It feels very sacred and very quiet. You're very quiet. It feels like that moment when you look up into the sky and you see the first star emerge at like dusk. That's what it feels like. It's just this quiet reverence for the path you've walked, the light you maintain after going through something probably quite difficult. Like who you are and why you've come, Gemini. You seem to really know that in a pretty solid way, and it's cool. It's super cool. Cancer. She Who Surrenders, Chains, Bondage, Release, and the Page of Wands. Okay, so this is almost like the opposite energy of Taurus, and not in a bad way, just in a... The Page of Wands is learning to handle your creativity, your sexuality, your fire, your heat in a new way. And She Who Surrenders is a very quiet figure. There's a way in which like the Page of Wands would set fire to any bondage. And She Who Surrenders feels like actually like you want to just stay put for a little longer. You want to, even if the chains were released, you're still sitting still. And maybe that's okay, Cancer. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe there's a way in which you've noticed some liberation, some shift in your energy, and you don't know what to do yet. You don't know where to go with that. The Page of Wands coming in is like, just take your time. This is new. You are new. This is a new space. And when you're inspired to move, you're going to know it. And you don't need to force that. There's something about this that feels, the way she's sitting feels like the opposite of wand energy. And so it's like, maybe just be patient, take your time, and know when it's time to move. You're going to know you're free and you're ready, but you're also not ready. And so it's okay just to kind of sit in this space and know that the fire won't pass you by. The fire is never extinguished. It's just a matter of kind of gathering yourself for what's next and being patient as the world turns, as the wheel turns, until it brings you to a place where you say, yes, I want to step forward into that. It's okay not to decide, Cancer. I guess that's the way I would say it. It's okay to rest and wait and not decide. Leo, 10 of Cups, and she who loved once, fragile, secret love, rejection. That's interesting. These are very opposing energies. The 10 of Cups is an overabundance of love. It's love so great that it pours out and impacts the community around you, impacts the larger world, and like your joy is a palpable thing. Your satisfaction is a palpable thing. She who loved once is very different. There's like a wistfulness to it. Maybe that's the energy I would say, a wistfulness to it. So, oh, Leo, oh, this seems like such a happy energy, but actually what comes through is a sense of nostalgia, a sense of it was better then, or we had it all then, and now that that's shifting or changing, there's a sense of loss, a sense of wanting to hold on to what was. It's not regret. It's like maybe just the reality of watching life move on and knowing that there was a sweetness to what was that can't be recaptured, and it was wonderful. And it's like having children, you know, when they sleep at night and they could have been just driven you to your last nerve during the day, and then you go check on them at night and they're sleeping and you're like, they are perfect. How did I ever lose my patience? How did I ever get confused? Why did I waste a minute of joy with them today? Time is passing by, you know? And like the truth is, we did the best we could. We made art the way we needed to make art in the moment. It's easy to look back and say it was wonderful then. It was challenging too. It was imperfect, and that's okay. That's perfect. And maybe what I would offer in this is to sit with whatever grief or whatever feelings come up in that, and then to turn to what is now and look at it in all of its mess and say, or its perfection or its imperfection or its joy or its satisfaction or its heartbreak or whatever it is, and be like, this too shall pass. So can I be as present with this now as I wish I had been with the things in the past? Can I be in joy with the fact that I'm still here, that this is my life? And one day I'll look back and there might be some part of this that I wish for, that, you know, felt like life in a way that I yearn for. Feel what you feel about what was, and don't let it rob you from the magic of what is in this moment. There's still some overabundance. There's still some way in which your cup is overflowing in this moment. Don't lose track of that, Leo. That feels to be like the important message. Virgo, 7 of Swords, she who stands, resolute, implacable, determined. This is so interesting. Okay, so 7 of Swords, you remember the card, he's stealing 5 of the Swords, he leaves 2 planted. It's one of those cards of like, what's he even doing? Is this funny? Is this dangerous? Like, what are we talking about? And then she who stands is holding 1 sword, and it's pretty upright, and it's almost like she's the one that the guy carrying the swords is messing with. There's like a dialoguing happening here. What I want to say, Virgo, is like, no one can mess with you. It reminds me of where did that come up? Oh, with Pisces, like that sense of someone trying to goad you into a conversation. Oh, it's also the she who provokes, instigates. Like someone's trying to push your buttons. Someone's trying to use language, words, misdirection to get you going. There's something's not quite what it seems, and someone's trying to use that to their advantage with you, and you are like, I don't give a fuck. I know exactly who I am. Stay in that energy, Virgo. I think you're going to be particularly provoked and goaded this month. Someone is watching your reaction very carefully and looking for a reaction. Oh, Virgo, sorry, this is not the easiest. Someone's watching you pretty carefully and would love to see you sweat, would love to get a reaction out of you. It's that idea of, like, again, with toddlers, it's like any reaction's a good reaction. Any attention is good attention. Is coming in as language in particular. I can feel the virtual realm, so I can feel social media here. Oh, dude, this is like someone saying just the thing in the comment section that you just want to respond to. And I'll tell you something that you may not know. No debate has ever been solved in the comment section of a post. So you just stay steady. Like Pisces, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. The most powerful stance you could offer is staying still with your own energy. And and kind of silence. I know that's a funny thing to say because I don't want to silence anyone, like speak your mind, but there's something about your silence, your pause, your quiet presence that is the most powerful stance you could take right now. Oh, Virgo. Don't let the people get you down. Don't let the people push your buttons, because someone's really got an eye on you. They could see it like all in good fun. They could be like, I was just playing with you. I was just playing with you. And you're kind of like, no, you weren't. I don't know. It reminds me of what came through for Leo last week. You know, you stay with you and let people play their games. Don't get dragged into that, Virgo. Libra, she who yearns, desires, yearning, longing, pined for, and the Queen of Swords. So you guys, like Aries, Taurus, Gemini had this beautiful run, and I feel like Leo, Virgo, Libra, this is a little bit of a tougher section. The message is like get your shit together. Be fierce with yourself around your achingness. So there's a way in which there's something kind of messy about the way you're yearning or desiring right now. Like it feels like it's spilling out, becoming unhelpful. It's like the way I can feel it. Like it's almost like you have this thing you want and it's important to you, but it's becoming a little bit almost obsessive in that I want it so badly, it's spilling out into everything else. So when I'm doing something else or I'm present somewhere else, I'm distracted by this longing. And the Queen of Swords is like, there's no room for that. You are not being your own best ally in that. I say this, as I say it, like I can feel a lot of compassion. You have a crush on someone and maybe they don't even know it. And you're kind of always thinking about them, or they're always popping into your head. And that's fine and like sweet and cute on some level. And on some level, it's keeping you from getting your shit done. Like it's keeping you from the work you're here to do. It's keeping you from your responsibilities. It's keeping you from your art. Yes to your longing. Yes to your desire. Yes to wanting something so badly. Bring a fierceness to yourself. Bring a strictness to yourself. Bring a container to yourself of like, I am more than that. That I can't let this spill out. It's kind of a funny, the way it's coming through is kind of, it's like, it feels like you need to give yourself a good slap in the face, like snap out of it. Like that's the energy. And I think you can do that. And I think you kind of probably know what I'm talking about. There's probably something that you're like, yeah, that behavior, that need, that longing, that fixation is not really serving me. And I need to kind of like snap out of it. Okay, sorry, a little slap in the face from tarot. But again, this comes through with love. It's not given to you, you're doing something wrong. It's given to you like, notice this, like notice the way something is spilling over the edges of where it belongs and it's contaminating or distracting other parts of your life, and it needs to be reined in. It would behoove you to rein it in. And the Queen of Swords is like, you totally have that capacity, and it's almost like you just need to be told, you almost need to be given permission to rein it in. Beautiful people. So much variety came in with that. So I hope it was helpful. I hope I gave you something you needed, something that was inspiring, something that was reorienting in a way that felt like love, felt like light, felt like you needed it. And tarot offers this to you with so much love, so much humor, so much patience, so much just being here for it, the whole human experience. It's crazy and lovely and beautiful and painful and exciting and inspiring and insane. The universe is vast and strange, and so are you. You know, love yourself for it, with it, through it. All right. Happy November. Much love, and check you later. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.